Coming to you from beautiful Southern California, recorded in front of an 8x10 glossy of a live studio audience. This is The Dynamic Duos, a movie talk show that is exactly like all the others, but they don't have the host with the most, the host you'll want to toast, a man that needs no introduction, although we will anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony DeGioia. What's up, guys? Anthony here with the Silver Screen Analysis. This is another episode of The Dynamic Duos. It's a movie talk and interview show, but it takes two to make a duo. I got a great guest. He's an actor, he's a producer, he's a writer. I found out he's a singer as well. He does a little bit of everything. We're going to talk about his short film that he has out right now. We're going to talk about a bunch of other projects that he may be having going on. Nelson Scott, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. We're going to talk about your film. We're going to get to know you a little bit. We met and I got a chance to watch this movie. I reviewed this movie. You can check that review out over on the website. It was absolutely fantastic. But
we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'm humbled by that. But man, you got many talents. I was going to ask you when we're getting off to get to know you a little bit, I was going to ask you what pulled you into the industry. And then I realized reading up on you that you kind of have been a performer since you were as far as you back as you can remember. I heard seeing that you brought the house down and raised them up to their feet with what were you, 5 years old at your church choir?
Yeah. I was a little kid, and you don't get to pretend that you can sing and be in church. They'll call you up and make you use that. So if you can play the bongos, the drums, they're gonna make you do it. So yeah, they threw me up there, and I started to just sort of let it come out, and they liked it, I guess.
Yeah.
So
singing, there you go. So singing was what really brought you into just performing before anything else. And then at the age of 16, you were at the Apollo, first place there. That's amazing. How does that feel?
Man, it was a good feeling. I wish I had sort of maybe pursued that a little more. But I realized, you go down the path you're supposed to go down. But I was sort of on track to, at that time, be a basketball player. I was, 6 feet at 9. And I was like 6'2" by 13. So they're like, yeah, you can sing, whatever. That's cute. But you're playing basketball. So, don't get too comfortable being on stage. And, that's what I sort of pursued. And then I ended up actually stopping playing shortly after. But music was sort of the first love, but I also fell in love with acting as well because I did commercials as a kid and did, things for LA Gear and Sunny Delight when I was, in the first and second grade. So I stopped that to go to school, and when I did, I just sort of put that to the side until I graduated, and then I was like, no, I want to rediscover the love I have for acting because it's literally all I think about. So.
Yeah. But you also write as well. That's another passion. Where did that come about?
Oh, man. Okay, so here's the thing. I never really considered myself to be a writer. And once I wrote By His Stripes, which is the first project I've ever written, people were like, you really should pursue writing. You really should think about, writing more. And I'm just like, well, because the way By His Stripes sort of came about is it just sort of came to me. I didn't like sit down and, decide, hey, today I'm going to write a short film. It just literally, came to me. I was, sitting down, or I kept getting visions of the film. And before I wrote it, I literally could visualize every second of every scene. And I was like, well, this must be a reason I'm able to do this. Let me sit down and write this down. And I, sat down and I wrote it like in 2 hours. And,
wow.
I literally was watching the film in my head and just writing down what I saw. And so because it came so easily to me, I really sort of just assumed I was, I'm a spiritual person. So I was like, okay, God, this must be a thing that you're doing here. You must want to just use me as a vessel to get this story out. And once I did, I thought, well, that was it. But it turns out there were more stories in me to be told. And I've been writing those lately as well. And I've written since By His Stripes. I've written 3 pilots and 2 other short films, and they just kind of just keep coming. And I'm just like, wow, okay,
keep writing it down.
Let me hurry up and write this stuff down. It's
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So basically, the main focus of this show is By His Stripes. It was a short film that captured my imagination. It doesn't tug on the heartstrings. It really just takes the heart and wraps it in its fist and
Wow.
holds on to it the whole time. And it's basically for people that aren't familiar with it. It basically just follows a small family that basically it focuses on the mother and the son. They get word that the mother has a terminal illness, and from there it just kind of dives into just testing of faith and just difficult decisions that have to be made, which way you're going to go here and there. And it's something that I think the population of people that haven't been affected by cancer is shrinking every day. I don't really know anybody that could say they haven't. So it's something that this was a film that really caught me off guard because it opened up just a whole door of emotions and experiences and past memories that I had in my family, and it immediately made me want to reach back out to you. And it's like, yeah, I'm excited to read. Excellent work on the film. I can't wait to review this movie and talk about it. You said you just got the idea for this story. Was there any kind of personal connection to it? Did it just pop up into your mind? Was there any kind of any family members, friends, or anything, or was this just something that popped up?
I have been affected by cancer. Like I mentioned, I grew up in the church, and from age, 3 until about age 25, I went to the same church, and it was a husband and wife pastor. And around 2013, Mildred Fears, the wife, she was diagnosed with cancer and passed away. But I also have an Aunt Ruth, who also died of cancer. And when the story came to me, I didn't feel like I was telling those stories because what I went through with, the passing of those two very strong figures in my life, this film doesn't really document or sort of tell what happened there. I was a little more removed from the situation with them. This story is about a mother and the relationship between her son and the issue of cancer. And I personally haven't had that experience. My parents have never dealt with that, and so I'm sort of cautious when I explain it to let people know it's not a personal story, but I have been affected by cancer in my family, and it I don't want to have to go through that that closely.
No, and it's actually a testament to the story because it doesn't hinder the impact of it at all, because the genuineness of the dialogue between the characters and just the family connections that are created in there, and just the visual scenes are still just as intense as they are and just as emotionally heartbreaking as they are, just because I was raised by my grandma, so we had like a 55 or 60 year age gap. So even at a very early age, I knew that there was going to be a time when I wasn't going to have her, and she got the news that cancer came, and you're still not ready for it. And you try to lighten the mood with you try to keep things as normal. And that was one of the things, like that scene that you guys had in the car where you were talking. It was like, I thought that was just fantastic dialogue, because it's like your last little semblances of normalcy before things really go crazy. And it's subtle. And that was the one thing that I loved about this movie, was it doesn't force emotions onto you. It just lays them out for you to take at face value. And it just so happens that I think so many different people could just invest in and relate to these characters. They can just relate to these experiences. Like, even if you aren't indirectly had these things happen to you, you can still capture the weight of it just because you know what's involved. So I thought it was excellently written. What was it like when you finally just had the completed film? You say you saw this movie in your head. Just talk to us about that feeling of seeing the movie in your head to be seeing it on the screen.
Well, just a little backstory. After I wrote it, I saved for 3 years so I could fund it myself, and so I used my entire savings to put it together. And we wrapped in June 2017, and editing took about 3 months because of the different issues we were having with editing. And so when it was finally finished, because I had been watching pieces of it, throughout the 3 months, and I kind of could tell what it was coming together to become. When I finally saw it, I was glad that it finished, but I am a perfectionist, and I'm my harshest critic. So I could
Right.
see every minute detail that wasn't quite brought into how I wanted it to be, but it was a collaborative effort, and there were budgetary restraints, and different things that I wish we had gotten, while we were filming that we weren't able to get. But given all of that, I think that, humbly speaking, I think it came out fantastic, and that's a testament
Absolutely agree.
to our director Miko Taylor, our DP Kelly, Crystal Kelly, our grips, and our entire crew, our set designer, everybody. It was a really a blessing to see how everything sort of came together on the day that it was time to shoot. It was a 3-day shooting process, and our director hired our director hired our DP, who hired our, most of our crew, and, our cast and our extras. They all came to set ready and willing to work. And you can tell the love that they have for the project, because it sort of exudes that level of commitment from them, and from both the crew and the cast. So I was grateful that I was able to be a part of a project that people, took so seriously, and respected. And our star Denise Dowse, who, I mean, Google her, Denise Dowse. She's a legend of both screen and stage and film. I sent the script to her, and she replied back immediately saying she had to do this because she was so impressed by how well it was written. And I mean, once she said that, I was like, well, now it's got to happen. I mean, I got to make
Yeah.
it now, because I was on the fence prior. I was saying, if she says no, I'm probably not going to want to do this, because, I don't really see anybody else playing this role. But for her to say that really sort of gave me the confirmation I needed. And, Nico was ready, and we just, guerrilla styled it to get it finished. So, yeah, I was happy with the film.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, it was a fantastic movie. I definitely recommend any film critics that may be watching this. We're so used to we have a voice as critics, and we're so used to using it to critique work and review work. But this is definitely the example where you should reach out to him. I'm going to leave all his descriptions down in the description of the video below. Reach out to him for coverage of this movie, and turn your voice into promotion. That's something that doesn't get utilized very often, but certain projects really call on it. And you could tell that everybody really respected the film, because there's this effort there. And it's like, yeah, you wanted this, you're a perfectionist, so you want it to do like this, you want it to do like that. But I mean, the finished result for the budget that was at your guys' disposal is pretty awesome, because it's not always the visual appeal and the way things are cut and edited, which I think it was actually pretty well put together. The emotion of the characters is what carries it all. That's just the number one thing about it, for sure. Yeah. So, but you guys did have some luck. What was it? The Everybody Digital Film Festival, 3 nominations. What was it? Best Short Film, Best Actress for Denise Dowse, and Best Director for Miko Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting chills as you say that. I mean, how crazy is that?
Right. How was that experience, to have this film go from like your project that you have your cluster of friends that all worked on it and everybody's passionate about it, but when you take it out there and you're at a festival and it's being screened, just tell us about that experience.
Well, first off, shout out to Alan Maldonado, who put together Everybody Digital, which is an app. It's sort of like a Netflix for short films. He put together the festival, and I submitted. They invited us out. It was in Brooklyn. I'd never been to New York before, so it was a fun trip. I got to see my family on the East Coast, and we were just happy to be accepted. We had no idea that we'd be nominated. Once we got there, we found out on I believe the second day. It was a 3-day festival. That second day, we got word that we'd been nominated for the awards, and I mean, I was just through the moon. I was just so grateful. One, that I went, because at first I wasn't gonna go. Budgetary restrictions.
Yeah.
But the money came together. We were able to fly out there, both myself and Miko, and we presented the film, and on Sunday we found out that we had won Best Short, and we were beyond thrilled and honored, because there were a lot of really good films at that festival. And So any, nomination or win would have been nothing but a blessing. But I mean, to win that particular award, I mean, you talk about putting gas in the fire in me about this film. It really sort of, again, confirmed that I was on the right path and we were, moving in the right direction, because we'd submitted to a lot of festivals. That was actually the fifth festival we got accepted into. We've been
Awesome.
to, the High Desert Film Festival. Thank you to Barbara James for inviting us there, and we took home best best. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the award. It was ambassador to the High Desert in regards to film and television. So thank you to her for that. And we've been to the LA, or excuse me, the. I should have all this down. Where's my paperwork? I didn't write it down. I should have.
It's all right.
This is why I need an assistant. We're gonna edit this because I can't have people thinking I can't remember anything. We were at the Zero Film Festival. That was back in, I believe, April, and that's for films that are put together on small budgets. So we were invited there, and we showcased the film there. We were invited to the oh, great! Now I can't even remember the name of the festival. It'll come to me. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm also excited. So it's
Well, I mean, you got a lot going on. You got pilot. You're writing pilots. You're putting in little acting gigs here and there. You're promoting this movie. You're pedaling all the time, man. It's busy.
My birthday is next Thursday, so I'm getting a little older. My mind is not like it used to be.
I hear you, man. I'm there with you in that one.
But
start having to carry Post-it notes with me everywhere I go.
Man, yeah, I'm trying to. Indie Night Film Festival. There we go. Thank you to Dave Brown. We were invited to the Indie Night Film Festival. We showcased our film in February. Then they actually invited us back again in, I believe, May or June to showcase the film again, because they wanted to have it be shown in front of different casting directors from BET and NBC and places like that. So that was a blessing, because, I mean, to have them say that they liked it that much that they wanted us to showcase again, I mean, that was the biggest compliment.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, to all of the festivals we've been to, thank you to everyone who put them together and considered us, and hopefully there'll be more in the future. I submitted to a lot, though. Nobody told me that it costs money to submit to festivals, so I found that out along the way, growing pains. And
so some larger than others.
Some larger than others. But, a lot of the budget kind of went to that. So
yeah. Sticker shock sometimes when you start trying to promote that film, and it's like, man, we scraped by to get this together with the budget we have, and now they're wanting $60 here, $100 there, $80 there, and then you don't sometimes hear back. But I can just imagine yeah, exactly. It's like, if you guys even gonna reply, you can at least send me my check back, because that check could go send to someone else.
It's seen a lot of money from me.
I can just imagine, like, all the work that you put in. You're seeing it on the big screen. Are you watching the movie, or are you watching the crowd reaction to see? I could just imagine, like, if I was in your position, I would be just like, okay, I would be looking around and just seeing how people were reacting to it.
Right. Once you see it in that environment a couple of times, you start to get a feel for when the audience will react. When you're putting it together, in my head, I'm saying, okay, well, this is the funny part, and this is the dramatic part, and this is the part that should get you. But an audience will tell you all of that. You can think what you want, but the audience will react when they do. And I've noticed that there are particular parts where the audience laughs, and that's what I wanted. And then there are particular parts where you hear, or a reaction, and it's like, okay, good, that's what I want. And so yeah, when I'm watching it, I'm listening for the audience, and I'm still watching, because again, I'm a perfectionist. I'm still critiquing. I'm like, if we just could have did this, or if we just a little something here. But I think once it's finished, you have to sort of just release it and let it be what it is. And so I'm getting better at doing that. But yeah, I'm always listening to the crowd's reaction. I've screened it for relatives, and, I'm like watching my aunts and uncles, like, okay, so what are you guys thinking? So, in my head, and, they laugh, and I'm like, okay, good. That's what you're supposed to do. And then they'll, and I've been told that it's made people cry. My Aunt Yvette, shout out to her. She was she hosted me while I was on the East Coast at the Everybody Digital Film Festival. She said it made her cry, and I was like, well, thank you. I mean, I was like, you're not just saying that because you feel. She's like, no, I wouldn't lie to you. I would tell you if it was bad. It was really good. It made me cry. I was like, thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all you want.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my wife and I were teared up after it was over. I mean, we both can relate to that, the experiences in the story. So, I
Wow.
mean, not to be, too heavy, too weightful with the emotions, but it's like I remember when my grandmother was in the nursing home, and it was the last day I ever saw her. And walking out of that room, I turned around and looked back at her, and she just kind of was like, it's okay, you can go. And my wife had similar experiences because her mother passed away from cancer, and
I'm sorry.
that scene in the bedroom just captured that so well. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, I don't. That's why I was kind of curious because I was expecting so a lot of people to be just tearing up from this one. I mean, like I said, it doesn't tug on the heartstrings. It just grabs your heart in its fist and just squeezes it as it wants. And I mean, yeah, it was extremely well done. I like the
Man,
you were able to say so much, and it was like what about 15 minutes long,
15
roughly?
minutes. Yeah.
And like I said, in my review, it just captured decades of history between the family members. If someone ever came up to you and was like, I like this, but I want a full feature version, are you excited, or would you like to explore these characters more or write more layers to it?
I'm ready.
Whatever, right?
As long as they come with a budget to also support that idea, I'm
Yeah.
100% ready. Because one thing I've realized is that as much as I love writing and producing and doing this, I don't want to use my own money again. So if I'm able to get that to happen, that would be amazing. I think it would be a really amazing feature, and I already have been working on extending the script and lengthening it out and getting to that point. So yeah, that would be a fantastic opportunity. I'd love to take on.
Yeah, I think the story potential has just got so many layers of potential for added family members and just different dynamics and exploring, mostly just exploring that father or mother son dynamic further and deeper into it. I mean, you were able to really capture all the impact of it, but I mean, yeah, it would be fun to learn much more about that. So,
Wow.
once again, guys, I am going to do a video review on this one, so you can look for that on the channel as well. I'm going to leave all the descriptions. Again, if you review films, either written, video, podcast, whatever, reach out to Nelson, get with him about providing some coverage, turn your voice of critique into a voice of just promotion to get this movie out there, because sometimes you think it's impossible to get a film made, but really like getting the film made is pales in comparison to just the distribution part and just getting it out there and getting it moved, getting traction for it. And I definitely think this is a project that warrants that. So I'm going to leave the links to all wherever you can get a hold of Nelson down below in the description to reach out to reach out for to let me see if I can get that right. To reach out to him for
There we
that.
go.
So let's lighten it up a little bit. Now,
All
I
right.
was going back and looking about over your past career. We also had already talked about this. You were in NBA 2K18 as Boo Boo Thompson.
I
That's
was.
pretty awesome, man.
I was.
I looked up, I saw you. You're in the mocap suit. I mean, you guys. How long does it take to get all that stuff on?
Well, first, shout out to 2K because the money I made from that project is what I was able to really use to put into this film. So that was clearly divine because prior to booking, I was, penny pinching and saving and trying, but be it as it may, it was not coming together. So I thought, well, I know you have not given me this story, God, for me to sit here and just kind of sit on it for years and years and years. But yeah, I was grateful to get the role because, like I said, I was able to sort of move that money to this project. But yeah, the process was fantastic. I mean, it was my first major role. I'd done small things in on different shows and different films, but this one was definitely the highest paying role I booked, and I got treated like a little celebrity. I got to get picked up in
Nice.
the town car and flown up to San Francisco and put in a hotel. And, yeah, it was fun. We did that for a week, the last week of every month from December 2016 to maybe May of 2017. And so, or I'd probably say April 2017. And Yeah, it was a fantastic experience. I had never done mocap before. I like to say I got a crash course in motion capture performing and voiceover work and the whole bit. We, had the suit with the reflector balls on it. We were in this huge studio. It was the 2K studio with like 1,000 cameras facing in every direction, so it picks up every hair on your head and every lash on your eye. And I mean, it gets everything. And we had the helmet on with the camera facing our face so it could pick up every facial feature, and it was so much fun. It was a good time. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And if you were a fan of me in that game, let's go ahead and hit up 2K and tell them bring Boo Boo Thompson back, man.
There's more story to tell.
There's more story to tell. They're working on 2K 2020. Tell them you want Boo Boo Thompson back. Email them, write them. If you know where the studio is, just visit them, knock on the door, and say, hey, you know what? I think you should bring Boo Boo back.
Yeah, there's definitely more story to tell. Get him in the locker room, doing his thing in the story mode for sure. Yeah. There's room for that. Maybe even the playable character option. You never know.
Listen, Boo Boo can ball. Let me tell you something. You give him the ball, he's going straight to the hole with it. You need to have him on. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Had to be a great feeling. I mean, growing up playing basketball. Just to be in this video game. I mean, we've all played video games growing up. It was just, getting. Did they give you like a special version to where you could see all your scenes, or how did that work to get to see the final result? I've always been curious about, because there's so much gameplay in between that. Right. I was always curious, like, do they just chop it up and give you all your scenes to let you see it, or you're just like, they just tell you to take the check and we'll see you next time?
Yeah, well, I mean, they were nice enough to give me a few free games once it did get released. Nice. And I had to fight a little bit to get the raw footage so I could put together my own little reel. But I was actually seeing the scenes more from the fans. As soon as they would reach a new level of the game, they were posted on YouTube, and I just go on and watch it. And there were a lot of forums and things dedicated to Boo Boo, and I would just sit there, honestly. Oh Lord, it might get dramatic. I was like crying because it was like, this is me, and I'm sitting at like, this is crazy. First off, who knew people were in games? I didn't know that real people were in games, and then to think I'm one of the actors chosen to be a part of it, and I have or at least my character Boo Boo has fans and fan pages dedicated to him. It's really surreal to think about.
Because he's got really that charm and that personality, man.
Man,
they're telling jokes in the locker room.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what makes him a memorable character. I mean, they started that story mode, I think, in like 2015 or so, and it just was kind of forgettable. But that was the character that really popped with people, man, for sure. He's going to end up being a cult icon down the road.
Well, I hope so. Let's bring him back. Let's get him booked and get some more story out of him, because I got a whole life set up for me, the writer. I done wrote his whole life story. I'm ready. He started off here and ended here. And I got all that worked out. So reach out to me, 2K.
Well, Michael B. Jordan was in NBA 2K, and I don't think he's got his own character fan page. Kruger. Yeah, that was a fantastic year too. But hopefully you'll get back in there, man. I want to see you get back in that mocap suit, strap all those cameras and all those balls on, stand in front of those cameras. I've seen that real footage on the YouTube channel. Also, I'm gonna leave the description down for that below too, because some of that the real footage is awesome to check out. So I'm gonna leave that link down for his YouTube page as well. Awesome. Another note I found out about you was pretty cool. Is like and admirable. You were offered the lead role in a pilot called DTLA in 2010, and it's a tough industry. You made the decision school first. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm settled in my decision. Yet and however. No, it worked out the way it was supposed to. I was just honored to even have gotten that far in the audition process. I went in auditioning thinking, the same thing I think about every project, I'm going to get it, but then knowing that, the chances are I won't. So I just gave it my all, and they called me back, and they called me back, and they called me back, and, they offered me the role. And I was really at that point sort of faced with a decision. I had been working so hard as an actor to get to this point, but I'd also been working hard as a student. And it was, like, do I want to give up on that, because I only have so much more to go, and then once I'm done with it, I'll be able to be freer as an actor and take more projects. So yeah, I did. I chose school, and I'm glad I did. I think that it worked out the way it was supposed to. The show ended up being great, and the actor who they ended up casting actually was fantastic in the show, and yeah, I'm settled in the decision. I
It's a good
wavered for
character
a
move,
while.
though. It's a
Yeah.
good character move. I mean, you got to get, the books in school is like
Mhm.
you said, you were so close to being done, the time and money invested into that, and it's a good character trait to have on a resume. I mean, sometimes people go all for something and you're not 100% sure what that role is going to be, but you know what school is going to be and getting that education, and it's a tough decision. I mean, I wouldn't really know what I would do if I was in that decision.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I'm
Yeah.
sure you labored over it back and forth for a
Oh
while.
yeah, I did. And knowing what I know now, I don't know if I would have made the same decision. I'll be honest, but I will say that I'm glad that I made the decision I did because, like I said, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and it definitely went the way it was supposed to. So
It's
yeah, and
awesome,
my
man.
mom
So
was
as long as
happy.
you're comfortable, mom will be happy you stay in school for sure.
Yeah, she's like, "You'll book other pilots."
Yeah.
It's okay. I was like, "Okay, you sure about that?" All right, I'll be living with you if I'm on the street. So
So,
she liked that.
you prefer acting over writing,
Uh,
performing in general, whether it be anything, or is right? Because we were talking the other day, and you were talking a lot about writing, and like you definitely
right.
have a passion for it.
If you would have asked me this, or a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, that answer would have definitely been no. I prefer performing over writing. Now I've really sort of. I mean, let me just say also, I'm not a trained writer, so I mean, I don't consider myself to be, some great scholastic uh, prodigy. And I'm learning as I go. But what I've discovered is that I feel a lot freer as a writer because I'm really able to create worlds. Whereas when I'm acting, I'm playing a character, which I love because I love character analysis and breaking down scenes and working with other actors. And so, like I said, that was that and singing were my first love. And so um, I still would rather be a performer, but I'm grateful that I have the skill of writing because what I realized is everybody doesn't have that skill. And I was thinking, everybody has a story, but I guess everyone isn't, able to sort of put it down and put it together. And
That's the hard part, putting it on
yeah,
paper.
yeah, but like I said, the way that By His Stripes came about, it came so easily to me that I was just like, well, this must be something I'm supposed to do because I ain't trying to write. Like when I say I fought myself on writing this, like I literally had to get the whole film visualized in my head before I'd actually agree to sit down and write it down. And, because I never considered myself a writer. I don't even like to read, let alone write. So I didn't think
I read a
that was
lot of synopsises and I read some
yeah.
reviews. That's about the bulk of it.
That's not it. It's like I am not. I will get the Audible real quick. Yeah, I never considered myself. English was my worst subject, and which is funny because one of my uncles was like, "Man, that's the language you speak. How can you be getting such bad grades in English?" Well, it's the formatting of everything and all the rules attached to it. But I guess as creative writing goes, that's sort of easy for me, and that's really what we're doing here is creatively writing things. So
Yeah. I mean, that's
yeah,
all you
no,
need to do is be a writer is just creative thoughts. I mean,
yeah,
sometimes the lack of trained structure, it's a little over, it's better without that structure because it's just your creative thoughts, the way you would say it, the way you would write characters to say it. I think you're a writer if you put sentences on the paper and you string them together and you get yourself a page or a story or a short story or a poem or whatever. If you're writing, you're a writer. Yeah, there's different levels to it, but I mean, it's also like you were talking about, you're writing some other pilots right now.
Yeah, I'm working on a few projects.
Different little ideas and stuff to get going.
Yeah, I'm looking to go in and pitch a few of my ideas to different networks. So
Cool.
if anyone from Hulu or Netflix or AMC or NBC or BET is tuning in, by all means, please reach out to me because I have some ideas. The thing about it is, because we all know that this business is about relationships. It's more about who you know than what you know, and I'm getting to know people, but I don't know that I know the right people yet. And so I'm hoping that, within time I'll be able to be invited into the room so that I can display what it is I have, available and what I'm interested in, developing. And people like Chandra Rhimes and Donald Glover and Issa Rae, just writers and performers that I really look up to. And I want to, sort of mold my career after, an Issa Rae or Donald Glover, and sort of dip my foot into acting and performing and writing and producing and music and, everything. I believe we all have like a multitude of gifts that we need to explore them. And, I'm a huge follower and fan of T.D. Jakes, and he says, I want to make sure that when I die empty, because I've given everything I have in me to the world that God put into me. So I sort of, feel that way. I want to be able to get everything in me out before, it's time to check out.
What's your most memorable moment been in this business so far?
Oh man.
As far as like either just the one that sticks out at you or just the most fulfilling?
Well, fulfilling, of course, would probably be this project by His Stripes. To see it go from just a thought in my head to actually winning, awards is just beyond crazy to me. But really, there's no one real memory. I think right now it's just been the journey. It's just, it's been rough. It has not been easy. And let me just
tough business. There's so much competition.
Tough business. And, if you're not someone with a famous last name or you don't have the connections, then, it's that much more tough. And that's really sort of another element of why the project came together, because I got tired of not booking. I was like, listen, I'm going on millions of auditions and I'm not getting anything. I mean, I auditioned for Straight Outta Compton 7 times. They literally brought me in 7 times and I didn't get it. I was just like, what is going on here? I have auditioned for everything from Empire to Star to, the Breakdown. I mean, a whole lot of stuff. And, so one day I was just like, listen, I'm tired of, or at least what helped me want to put this project together was me being tired of waiting on a yes and just creating a yes for myself. I said, y'all not going to book me? I'll book my damn self. And I put the film, I wrote the film and, I made that character me. And, I'm glad I booked it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a fantastic performance.
Yeah. I was. Oh, well, thank you. But I knew the the writer and the executive producer, and he's a great guy. And so he offered me the role, and I said, yes, I will take it. Thank you.
Yes, I think I will take this role. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. So that's another reason, or another element that sort of made me want to venture off into writing, is because there's so much more freedom, not just creatively, but just professionally. I can't keep waiting to book. If I waited to get told yes by a casting director, I'd be waiting forever. And so, if this is the route that I need to take to get to the point that I'm, looking to go, then I have no problem with that, even if it means saving for 3 years to put the project together, because, I know that, asking for money from people is not easy. And so, if you have it, then use it. So, but I don't want to fund anything else again. So, I'm just
you funded your project. That's your resume piece.
I did that. Anybody going back there? So, yeah.
who would you so let's play a little game of executive decision. You're the studio head, you got the budget. Who would you want to work with? Who would you want to star opposite in a screen role? Like, if you're doing your auditions, who have you acted like you were acting with? Who's the dream team?
I mean, my favorite movie of all time is What's Love Got to Do with It. It's the movie that made me want to act. So anything I can do with Angela Bassett or Lawrence Fishburne, I mean, please.
Yeah.
I mean, anything. Like, if I could just be like a waiter as they sit at a table or something, I get chills now. And Viola Davis is
phenomenal,
right up there with Angela as far as my favorite actresses is concerned. I mean, everything she does just makes me want to do and be better. So yeah, those 3 actors, they're definitely in the project, whatever it is. And of course, Denzel Washington. I mean, please. I mean, he's everybody's, go-to as far as acting is concerned. And so, I mean, I don't know what the project would be, but that would be the team I'd go to. They all are really expensive though, so I mean, I'd have to have the budget. If I'm the studio head, I'm sure we got the.
That's right. Hey, or it's like, hey, it's like the same thing as, if you had Viola Davis or someone on the other, if someone sends you a script and you're just like, would you even read the script if you saw their names that's attached to the other stars?
Automatic
I
yes.
wouldn't.
If they
Yeah,
gonna do it,
sign
it's
me up.
automatic yes.
Just
Yeah.
to have my name in the end credits, even if
Hmm.
it's like several inches down the page.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
to
I
be in
can
there
be
would be
number
great.
20 on the call sheet, as long as it's on the same call sheet with them. But yeah.
Ever
Um,
thought about diving back into singing at all?
I really want to. I haven't been training vocally as much as I should be, so I'd like to, um, go back into sort of training my voice. But yeah, I'd love to put an album together, and I've been running into a lot of music producers and A&R folks and people who are, encouraging me to sort of venture back off into that, and I'd love to. I also forgot to mention, it may have been easy for me to write this film because I'm also a songwriter. I started writing songs at, 7 or 8.
Wow.
And, I've written, like 100 songs so far. Now, I mean, nothing's been, released, and I don't have, Grammys for any of them, but, I've written a bunch. And so I understood song structure and how to put a song together and how a song is supposed to tell a story. And I think that sort of helped me with, writing this project, even though with this, I really wasn't trying. But I feel like that sort of is a call to how my songs were written, because I wouldn't really try to write songs either. I would just kind of hear them in my head and just sort of write the lyrics. I was never really a musical producer. I didn't have, a studio or, instruments or anything, but I'd hear the music in my head, and I would just write, what I was hearing. And so, yeah, I'd love to venture off and go back into music. So if anybody wants to offer me a record deal.
There you go. What instruments you play?
I play the drums. I've been playing the drums for, a long time.
To your family's patience, I'm sure.
Yeah. Mostly at church. And so I would be the guy, I would sing, and then they would have me get on the drums while other people sung, and I would just be playing and keeping the beat. I play a little bit of piano. I'm not super great at piano, but I can sort of kind of keep up. And I play even less guitar. I was better at one point, but when you stay out of practice with stuff, it's not always like riding a bike. Sometimes you just got to relearn stuff all over again.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
with piano and guitar, I just got to relearn all over again. But I was real nice at one point. Y'all should have caught me when I was a kid. I'm telling you, I was a prodigy. I was a one-man band.
I mean, to get everybody to their feet at 5 years old, that's pretty awesome. That means you had the talent even way back then. It was just that creative spirit in you, man, the performer in you.
Thank you.
I mean, not too many people can do that at that age. I would go out there and, I mean, at 5 years old, you're maybe a little bit oblivious to it, but I mean, once you start getting up in there, I mean, 16 years old at the Apollo is a pretty daunting thing to be standing in front of, and you did it, man.
That's one of those things. Yeah, it's all, I've had a lot of different moments in life where I'm just like, wow, I can't believe this. Like, wow, thank you. It's just
goes by fast,
Yeah, it's just like winning awards or people acknowledging what I do. It's just like, wow, thank you. Because when I'm in it and I'm doing it, I'm not thinking about anybody. Well, I don't want to say I'm not thinking about anybody liking it, but I'm just really trying to get to the finish. I'm so singularly focused, or it's like tunnel vision, and I'm looking at the end result. So I'm not thinking about what the reaction from people would be, or how I may win a award or be acknowledged for it. So winning Apollo, I was just trying to sing. I did want to win, but I really wanted to make sure I wanted to sound good and look good and all that. And I don't know. I think I was too young to really realize what winning at the Apollo, the historic Apollo, would do. And then, different things in high school, I was, senior class president, and I was just like, wow, thanks. That was big. I really wanted that. So I was glad that I, was able to, campaign as much as you do in high school and, win that honor, because, that was awesome. So yeah, I mean,
that variation of campaigning in high school transforms right into campaigning to get that movie out there.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was definitely hitting the streets with that. I was like, listen, I must have contacted everybody I know. I mean, thousands of people It's just like, can you give
Yeah.
$1? Can you give $5? Like, what can you do? And just a little tidbit about the whole crowdfunding campaigning. Like I said, I funded it myself, and I finished the film before I ever even put up a crowdfunding page because I wanted something for people to be able to see, and I wanted them to know that when they were donating to me, that they weren't wasting their money because the project's already finished. Now you're just paying or helping to pay, for advertising and marketing expenses and the expenses that go with submitting to festivals. And I was glad that I went that route because I think if I would have been depending on, crowdfunding to get the project made, I think I may still be waiting to get the project made. So,
Yeah.
any advice to, filmmakers, unless, you have the support behind you, if you can fund it yourself, man, just go do it. It's worth it. Because you'll guaranteed to get it done.
Is that your number one piece of advice to anybody starting out? That would be it. That and just stay motivated, probably. But
yeah, I don't know if that's my number one piece of advice. I don't know what would my number one piece of advice be. Go with your heart. Don't have anything be contrived. Make sure it's something you believe in. That's probably my number one piece of advice. Believe in the project that you're doing, because if you don't, nobody else will. People have to be able to see the passion and the love you have for the project, because when they do, they'll be able to find it as well. So believe in what you're doing.
Absolutely. That's a great piece of advice, because I sense that passion in the movie. That's why I reached out to you. I wanted to learn more about you. I wanted to talk about this project. I wanted more people to get to know you and what this movie's all about, because yeah, passion goes a long way. It's like, kind of sounds cliche or maybe contrived at times, but effort and just believing in that story, it shows, it translates on screen. It's hard to describe how, but you can feel it, and it's like, I don't think anybody could not watch By His Stripes and not feel like this is a passion project from everybody involved. And I think that's what really adds to a lot of the emotional weight of the movie, for sure.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Again, I'm having one of those moments where it's like, wow, I really can't believe I'm here and I'm being interviewed by this amazing guy about a film that I just had in my head. It's a blessing. I'm grateful to be in this moment, and excited to see what happens.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm hoping that I'm a nobody on YouTube, but I hope this is
somebody,
just the start
Anthony. Now you're somebody.
Hey, well, I got Nelson Scott in the house right now. Hopefully it's just one of many interviews about this movie. I just, like you were talking on the phone with you the other day, it's just like, keep pressing, keep pounding, keep getting this movie out there. Like I said, just keep beating down doors and just make everybody watch this movie, because so many short films are good for certain aspects. Some of them are like a good way to showcase a film style or to showcase like an acting reel, but it's very rare that a short film can tell a start to finish spectrum of a story within 15 minutes and be able to capture emotional layers and just history between the characters and just dive into so many topics. I don't want to talk about all of them because I don't want to spoil the end of the movie if you end up watching it. But yeah, it has a lot of thought-provoking elements to it that by the time the movie's over, 15 minutes have passed and you're like, man, my mind has went into so many different avenues with this family, and it completes that full spectrum that not all short films can do. That's why it's like, when I was telling you, it's like, it's one that can very easily be, as it is as a short film, it can very easily be expanded into a full feature, and be just as intense and just as weightful. And that's why it's like, I'm impressed to write that thing in 2 hours with just that sincere, authentic dialogue was impressive. That's why it's like, when you say you're not a writer, it's like, I would beg to differ, because that script, a lot of other people read that script and were like, no, this is a writer that I want to act in his movie. So it's phenomenal, man.
Thank you. Again, the goosebumps. They're just, thank you. I appreciate that. Also, again, it's a testament. This film's a testament to the amazing directing of Miko Taylor and, our DP Crystal Kelly and our sound guy, James Hatchett, and our, set designer, her name escapes me now. Ali Strong, and just our DP Crescenda Watkins, or not DP, excuse me, our AD, first AD Crescenda Watkins, and our amazing cast from Denise Dowse, who this movie could not have been made without. She is the star, and you know it as soon as you see her on screen. Everything she does is amazing. Our aunt Rachel, played by, of course, the names
Robbie Danzy.
Robbie Danzy, thank you very much. I wrote these names down. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yes,
her performance was excellent too. Just the reaction to you and the mother, you and Denise Dowse in the car.
Yeah. This was her first film, and we were so happy to get her because we saw a lot of actresses that day. Because I also Miko and I also did casting. we were casting directors that day, and we saw a lot of Rachel's, and her performance and her audition was just it sort of embodied what I was looking for and what I was envisioning when I wrote the project. And so yeah, she was amazing, and I'm so looking forward to seeing all the good things that's going to happen to her and for her in her career. And our young David, played by listen, y'all gonna be mad at me if y'all watching this. I cannot remember anybody's name right now. I can barely remember my name. My own name, but little man who played David was fantastic, and the actress who played his mother, and everybody just brought their A game, man.
Yeah, they did.
They just brought their A game. I'm just so proud, and I'm just happy that the project was made with them, and
Well,
it
it's
was
something
good
that you can be proud of for the rest of your life, because it's,
I'm looking forward to it.
it's one of those movies where it's like, it's very easily, right now it's relevant. 20 years ago, it could have been relevant. In 20 years, it'll still be a relevant topic that everybody's dealing with. So it's like, you got something that can really, stand the test of time. And family dynamics are never going to go away. And that's something that this film really dives into with a lot of heart and a lot of emotion. So thanks so much for sitting down to take the time to talk to me today. I had a great time. It's been fun getting to know a lot more about you.
Yeah, man, I'm so thankful. And this is where I'm going to toot your horn, sir. Beyond thankful for the amount of attention and consideration you've given our film. What you're doing is so amazing. We need more people like you who appreciate short films, who showcase short films, and who are honest with their critique of short films, because if it wasn't for your encouragement and your pursuit of getting this film seen and heard by people, man, who knows? I don't know. But yeah, you are our first published review. So proud of that. It's on our Instagram page, displayed proudly. And you've just always been a constant support, and I really appreciate it, man. I was driving your Lyft, man. Like, come on, how did only in LA can the Lyft driver be the guy whose movie you like? Like, I mean, I didn't think you. When I sent you the link to my film, I was like, I hope I hear back from him. He seems genuine. We'll see what happens. I met a lot of people who said they'd watch it and get back to me. I'm still waiting to hear from him. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you.
It's my pleasure, man. I mean, thank you so much for just the accolades. But we didn't really tell the story of how we met. It was about 1 a.m. West Hollywood. My Lyft driver showed up. Of course, we're in LA at 1 o'clock in the morning. I've got a little bit of a buzz on. So I said, hey, man, how's it going? And I was like, you started talking. I said, I review movies. You said, well, if you review movies, I happen to have a movie. And really, where can you go from there? It's like I said, I even made the point to tell you, it's like, I probably sound a little bit buzzed right now, but I'm definitely going to watch your movie, and I'll definitely reach out to you. And I woke up that morning, and sure enough, like I said, I opened up my wallet, I pulled that card out, I put that information in the computer, reached out to you, and man, I didn't know if I was getting a long film, a short film. I didn't know anything about it. And that was one of the things that just hit me, because I wasn't expected to just be taken back into this whole swirl of memories and just emotional layers that a 15-minute movie brought me, man. That's why I was like, I got to get you on, got to talk about this movie. Like I said, guys, if you review films, either written or video, any kind of coverage would be great. It's like use your voice as a critique or as a critic to turn it into promotion, to talk about this movie. The more reviews it gets, the more word of mouth it gets, people can see it. And it's like we write so many reviews for films that you never hear anything from it on the back end. But this is a review that, you know, whether just give your honest opinion, whether you like things about it or don't like things about it, but just talk about it. And it's going to be appreciated, you know?
Yeah, definitely appreciated. Yeah, please let me know. And the thing is, you know, I like I said, I am a perfectionist. I've said that a few times already. So I know where we could have done different things or made different choices. So you know, I'm always welcoming of critique and criticism and, you know, getting an idea of what you guys think of the film and where you guys think it could have improved or where it was right on, or, you know, because that doesn't do anything but make me better as a writer, as a performer, and Miko better as a director, and, you know, our editor better. So yeah, by all means, please be as, you know, honest as you want in critiquing what you see, because we made it for, you know, the general public to and hopefully enjoy. So yeah, I never shy away from criticism. Yeah.
So yeah, reach out to him. I'm gonna leave all the links down in the description to where you can get in touch with him to see this movie, do a write-up on it, do a video on it, just talk about it on your social media feeds. Let's get the word spread. Let's get this thing out there.
And also,
if you want to fund this movie, if you want to,
there we go.
Go for it, man. What do you got?
You were just spot on. I was gonna say we are seeking distribution. So if there are any distribution companies or any, you know, channels looking to showcase short films, please by all means reach out. I'm constantly doing research on how to do different things. You know, when I wrote the project, I didn't know anything about writing, so I was Googling how to write a script. And so I came across cell text, and that saved my life because it just did all the formatting for me. And then as I was making the film, I was Googling how to make a film and, you know, how to budget a film and, you know, how to edit a film and how to, you know, set up and run a crowdfunding campaign. And so now I'm in the stage of Googling how to get distribution for a finished project. And, you know, again, this business is about relationships. It's more so about who you know, I think, than what you know, although you need to know some stuff. But I don't know any distributors or distribution companies. So if anyone, you know, comes across the film or knows anyone who knows someone, please by all means reach out, because that was the goal, was to get distribution for the film so that it can make it to the general public. And, you know, yeah, hopefully it can touch the masses and sort of open a dialogue in, you know, our community about this particular topic. So yeah, please, we're seeking distribution, y'all. Please help a brother out.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you guys have put your ear to the ground, if you hear anything, reach out to him, reach out to me. If you let me know anything, I'll definitely forward it on to Nelson. But, you know, Nelson, once again, thank you so much for joining us today. Had a great conversation. I had a great conversation with you on the phone the other day. We talked a long time. We were like, I think we just had our interview, but we're gonna expand on it. We talked about a bunch of stuff we didn't get to talk about in that conversation. So yeah, it's been a great time. I'm just honored to have been able to meet you. I'm honored to have been the first person to review this movie. The fact that you guys have it up on your site. Yeah, I mean, it's just it really gives me goosebumps. You know, to hear people like your critique, it's an awesome feeling too. It's kind of like my version of the feeling you have. This is my art, is, you know, creating reviews and video or written, and when they get good feedback, it makes you feel good. And like you said, it puts that gas on the fire to make you want to do more, make you want to do better. And I have no doubt that you're going to do some amazing things throughout your career. Your birthday is what, next month, you said?
It's next week, January 17th.
January 17th? How old are you going to be, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm at an age where I don't tell my age anymore. So
that just means you got plenty of years left in the tank, man.
No, I'll be 29. I'm 28 now. I'll be 29.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm actually going skydiving, so that's exciting. I've managed to find 7 black dudes willing to go skydiving with me, which is not easy. Let me tell you something. We don't even want to ride bikes, let alone jump out of planes. So we're all just gonna, hold each other's hands through the process and do it. I'm looking forward to it. Shout out to my brothers who are going with me. Thank you for that.
That'll
I
be an
didn't want to
awesome
go by
experience,
myself.
man. I wouldn't either. That's going to be a fantastic experience, though,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Jumping out, you'll be a birthday you always remember. You guys
I
go
will
out and
never
have some
forget.
dinner after that.
Yes, yeah, it'll be the last time I do it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It'll give you some stories that you'll never forget, man. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this has been another episode of the Dynamic Duo. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry about that. I wanted to shout. Like I said, I forgot everybody's name, but I want to make sure that I personally name everyone. Denise Dowse, of course, you're the reason.
Yes.
Robbie Danzy, thank you very much. Charlotte Williams, who played a young Ruth. Christopher Bell, who played young David. Our pastor Ernest. I'm sorry about that. Ernest Keith Walker, who played our photographer, and another Christopher, who played our pastor. So yeah, I just wanted to shout their names out.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry,
thank you
for doing
I gotta
that.
get better at this.
That's all right. Well, hopefully I'll be interviewing you again in the future. I'm assuming that anytime you got something coming out, I'm gonna come take a peek and see if I can get that inside scoop.
Yo, Anthony, I got another project, bro. Here, look. Open the door.
Send it over. I'll check it out anytime,
no
man.
problem.
I mean, I think you guys did a great job on this movie. To everybody that you just mentioned,
yes.
From even
Nico Taylor, our director. Yes,
everybody behind the scenes. Didn't a lot of people work for free on this just to get it done?
Everybody. Let me tell you something. So the crew got paid, but every actor worked for free, which is another testament to how amazing of a performer Denise Dowse is, because you have to remember she's literally done everything there is to do, from stage to film to screen. And she was Mrs. Beasley on the original 90210. I mean, she's been in Coach Carter and in Ray, and so for her to be willing to work for free, I mean, oh God, I mean, you can't even imagine how good that feels, because she, and not only did she work for free, she was willing to work for free. We shot in Fontana. It was my house we shot in, and I was living in Fontana at the time. She drove from LA and got her own hotel room just so she could be a part of it and didn't have to drive back and forth every day. And it's just stuff like that. She's the most giving, most considerate, true, honest actress you'll ever work with. And I would love to just get the opportunity to work with her again. And all the performers worked for free, and so that's another reason why I'd love to get distribution, because if it's a SAG film, and according to the agreement, if we were to reach a distribution agreement, everyone would get paid at least the SAG minimum per day for their work in the film.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see everybody get compensated. Yeah, they deserve.
But that's awesome for you too, man, because that means that's the definition of a passion project.
Yeah, it was.
People
definitely
going out of their way to want to be in something means that you had something, Yeah,
it's crazy. And shout out, I mean, it was a family affair. All the extras were relatives, my cousins and my aunts in the scene that you see extras. My mother did all the wardrobe for the actresses. She owns a boutique. So
nice.
Shout out to my mother, who, did fittings, and this is her first time doing this. And, she, I mean, please, we couldn't have got it together, without her. So, shout
all
out
the pieces lined up.
They all lined up, and my friends came out to help and support, and it means a lot. It really means a lot, and I hope that in the future we're able to still, garner that same kind of collaborative feeling on the sets in the future.
Yeah. So keep writing like you did on Bias Stripes, and I don't think that's going to be a problem at all, man. It was very well done. Once again, everybody did a fantastic job. Thank you so much for sitting down to talk to me. Again, I'll sound repetitive. All the links are going to be down in the description below. Reach out to him, cover this film, give it some publicity that it rightfully deserves. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dynamic Duos. Hope you guys enjoyed getting to know Nelson, talking a little bit about his movie, talking about video games, talking about singing. Yeah. You guys done a lot of stuff already at just 29 years old, and I think he's going to do
also a real estate agent. I wanted to mention that. Sorry. I cover all of Southern California. If you're in the market, please reach out to me, 909-907-4570. I work for a Noble Realty Group, so come and find me. It's on my website, www.actornelsonscott.com. Let me help you find your dream.
Yeah, it's not easy to find a home in San Diego or Southern California.
No, it's
Anywhere
not.
from anywhere south of LA County, it is not
Oh,
easy.
man, let me tell you something. All of California is
Yeah.
expensive. There are a lot of really good deals out there, a lot of really good first-time homebuyer programs, and there are a lot of county programs for people looking to buy in particular areas. So let me help you with that, and we'll get you ready.
There you go. Glad we met, man. I'm glad we were able to talk today. Thank you so much for watching this episode, guys. It's been another Dynamic Duos. I'll catch you next time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you all. Here are some links to some recent reviews just in case you missed them. The link to my official website, all my social media and merchandise store links are going to be down in the description below. And in the event, me talking to you guys about movies every couple days is not enough Anthony in your life, I now have a second YouTube channel with a growing collection of non-movie related content for you guys to check out, and I'll see you guys next time.